Hey everyone, it is MG Kaler, Mariah Donahue. I am an indie author, a stay-at-home mom, and I run a blog called My Southern Cottage. Sorry, I've had no caffeine this morning, and it's showing. My blog is basically talking to you about my cottage lifestyle. Homemade food, homemade clothes, dealing with minimal money, and creating a warm, healthy environment for my children and me and my husband to grow into. We may not be in a cottage right now, but our dream is to live in a cottage once again. My house that I had in Beaufort, South Carolina was my first taste of Southern living, and I never want to go back. I grew up in California. We're not going back to California. No. No. Anyways, I just wanted to show up in front of the camera and show off my new pixie cut. It's been a while since I've had a pixie cut. I dyed my hair like a year ago before we moved to Texas, and my hair was just shot from like here down, and they cut my hair a lot shorter than I was intending, but I got my floofy up here and I'm happy. So as long as this floofy up here is good, we're good. Anyways, I just wanted to talk about a project that I had recorded all of the footage for in the spring during the Texas snowstorm and prior to the Texas snowstorm. This footage has been sitting in my my computer for a while now, and I'm just like, I better get this up and get it ready for publishing. And I am so sorry it took me so long. I really am. Anyways, I am not at all an expert on sewing, especially hand sewing. I love historical costuming. I love historical sewing techniques. And I definitely love the fashion of yesteryears. I decided that I was going to make a men's shirt from the 18th century. This had been going around a while when I first saw it. Cottagecore was still a big thing. The cottagecore craze has definitely gone down a little, but I was never into that trend. I mean, cottagecore to me is just a knockoff Morikey, and that is my aesthetic, and I really enjoy that aesthetic. So if I can incorporate actual historical pieces or historically inspired pieces into my Morikey wardrobe, I'll be happy. And that's where this adventure started. I wanted a shirt that I could wear during the summer or around the home that acted more like a smock than a t-shirt. So I could wear nice clothes and historical clothes while doing chores at home. And this has become my favorite shirt when around the house. I'll definitely post some pictures of me wearing it in different styles and the styles that I enjoy wearing it with. Anyways, let's get on to me explaining my process, even though I am not an expert in sewing. I will definitely link the resources that I used, especially this German website. I'll post it down below. I think it's marquise.deutschland. I don't know. I will definitely mark it down below in the comment section and in the description. So anyways, on to explaining this dumpster fire of a hand sewing project. I wanted to make sure that I was able to put on this shirt, and the biggest thing about that is I had to make sure that it could fit over my hips. I have given birth to 2 children. My hips are not the way that they were when I was a single lady. They're just not. So I wanted to make sure that this shirt could go over my bum and my hips. And so I decided that I was going to put vent slits in the bottom of the shirt. I have seen historical examples of this and I wanted to try it, and this is just me attempting back stitching. I can't get very fine back stitches just yet, but I was pretty darn close. And for using what I had on hand for this mock-up, I'm really happy the way it turned out. And if you're wondering what fabric I'm using, I'm actually using an old bed sheet and whatever thread I had in my stash. I think it's the polyester all-purpose thread that I had from a couple projects ago. I made my daughters some nightgowns, and yeah, and it was a lot of back stitching, so much back stitching. I'm actually working on the sleeve gusset in this part right here, and my old man dog decided to keep me company. Now, I just want to make this very clear of, I know I am not doing this the right way. I used ballpoint pen to mark all of my seam lines because I wanted to try to sew straight. I've gotten a lot better with just marking it with pencil or my tailor's chalk, but this was my first really big hand sewing project. I hand sewed a skirt not too long ago, and this was before that. I'm actually very happy of what it turned out, but I am not using ballpoint pen ever again on anything for marking because there's a stain in the sleeve gusset, and luckily this is just a mock-up that I wear around the house. The one thing that I found with hand sewing is when people tell you to use a thimble, they mean use a thimble. I had to use this leather one because it's the only one that fits me. I can't find a metal one that fits my fingers. So I found a small leather thimble and was able to proficiently use it through this whole project, and having to deal with me biting off more than I can chew when it comes to thread length. And I had so many knots, and I had to break the thread and then retie it and start sewing again. The cuffs were just fiddly. I originally did threaded loops for the buttons instead of buttonholes. I will not do that again. I will make the sleeves a little bit bigger so I can actually have proper buttonholes. I know that might not be historically accurate, but those threaded button loops and those threaded loops, they don't work for me. I'm constantly snagging on them and I'm constantly ripping at them, and I've had to redo them twice already. So definitely next time I'm making proper buttonholes. Putting the sleeves in was another fiddly task. I had to gather the sleeves and put them in, but because I put vents in the sleeves so you can actually put them on and then button them, I had to make sure that the vents were at the cuff ends, and then the gathers came out because I accidentally pulled on them a little too tight, and I had to regather as I was pinning it into the cuff. Sewing the cuff was a lot easier than actually getting it into the cuff. The collar of the shirt was the same problem. I definitely will have to figure out a better method of gathering and sewing the collars and the cuffs on. Everything else was fine. The worst thing about this project was finishing all of the seams. I decided that instead of French seaming, which I probably should have, I decided I was going to fell every single seam. So much felling. It was just ridiculous. It was more time consuming than if I would have done French seams. I could have gotten this done a lot faster if I would have done that, but I wanted to make sure that my seams were finished, and again, I was practicing hand techniques. I shouldn't have. I really shouldn't have. I should have just stuck with what I knew of French seaming, and it would have been done. But I had one, I'm showing you right now how I did everything. When it came to the sleeve gusset, I tried to keep everything pointing into the gusset. I wanted everything to not pinch me. I have a skin tag in under my arm, and if I would have put the seams facing out instead of in, it would have irritated that skin tag, and it's something that I want to get removed. But right now I'm trying to make sure that all of my sewing projects account for this skin tag. It's very uncomfortable, and it is not a procedure that is an emergency. Therefore, I don't actually have to get it done. And the VA is very picky about elective surgeries, or elective procedures. So I'll just have to deal with it until it becomes too big of a problem. Until then, I'm going to sew things to accommodate that. Here is a lookbook of the finished project. I'm really happy with this project. I am going to show you my favorite way I've styled this so far. I'm getting very Labyrinth Sarah vibes from it, and I am super happy about that because that was one of my favorite movies growing up. If you like these sewing videos and want me to sew a little bit more, let me know. I'm definitely going to be showing different projects that I'm working on, as well as showing you how to budget things and cook inexpensive meals. Again, a cottage life is not the richest life, so I want to make sure that I'm using everything in my stash. I want to be using everything at my disposal to show you you can live a very comfy, cozy life with minimal spending, because I want to embody a Proverbs 31. Yes. Anyways, I'm happy that this project is finally ended. It is something that I've wanted to do for a while now, sew my own clothes. This shirt has been on my top priority list for years. I've always wanted a puffy Renaissance, puffy pirate, colonial shirt, and this just, I'm so happy about it. I love this shirt. It's soft because it was an old bed sheet. I have washed this bed sheet set for years, and the cotton's finally gotten to that vintage t-shirt feel, and it's just so snuggly. Here at my Southern Cottage, I want to teach you all how to manage your finances, cook healthy but cheaply, and work to create a cozy homemade home and homemade lifestyle that is fit for a mountain cottage. I want to embody the Proverbs 31 woman of making sure that I take care of my house, teach other women and others who want to learn to take care of their house. This is something I'm really passionate about, and I can't wait to share with you more sewing videos if you want, even cooking videos. So please let me know what you would like to see, and if you would like to see lookbooks of my clothing or maybe more in-depth videos of sewing projects, please let me know. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment for me. Until next time, bye!